Good morning, students. Today we will start with architecture of 8086. In the previous video, I have explained you the working of this diagram, how the two independent unit works. Now I will explain you all the individual parts of the architecture of 8086. So let's start with this. 8086 microprocessor is divided into two main parts. The two main parts are EU and BIU, whereas EU stands for execution unit and BIU stands for bus interface unit. Now, what is the working of bus interface unit and what is the working of EU? The working of the bus interface unit is BIU fetches the instruction. Fetches the instruction means it gets the instruction either from the input output devices or from the memory. So BIU fetches the instruction and places them in the instruction queue. After fetching the instruction, it places all the instruction in a special type of queue which is known as instruction queue. And after that, EU continuously executes them until it becomes empty. So EU continuously executes all the instructions till the instruction queue becomes empty. So the main task of the BIU is, look at this diagram. The main task of the BIU is to fetch the instruction and place all the instructions in this instruction queue. And at the same time, EU, that is execution unit, executes all the instructions which are in the execution queue. So this is how they both work parallelly. So such a processing is also known as parallel processing. So this is an advantage of 8086 over 8085 because it supports parallel processing. So let's start with the first part, execution unit. Now what is execution unit? The main components of the execution unit are general purpose register, ALU, special purpose registers, instruction decoder and the flag registers. Flag registers means status register which tells the status. Now the next task is it fetches the instruction from the queue in the BIU. So from how it fetch the instruction? It fetch the instruction from the queue. Which queue? The queue which is in the bus interface unit. Then I hope you people know that whenever processor has to execute any of the instruction, first of all the processor has to fetch that instruction. It means it has to fetch the data. Then after that it has to decode the instruction. Decode means the processor understands what it has to do or what it has to perform, and after that it execute the instruction. It means after that it performs calculation. So the main task of the EU is, now in case of 8086, EU don't have to fetch the instruction from the input output devices or from the memory because BIU already has done that task. So EU only has to fetch the instructions from the instruction queue, decodes it and executes it. So as it has mentioned that the main units of the EU are this. So you can check in the architecture. So the main units of the EU are all these units and you have to write the names of all these units like ALU, flags, temporary register, data registers and special registers, that is stack pointer, base pointer and all these. Okay, now this is the main introduction of EU. Next is general purpose registers of EU. Now what are the or how many general purpose registers are available? Now look at this diagram. These all are general purpose register. Data registers AX, BX, CX, DX. These all are general purpose register of 8086. Now we will study about this. So there are total 4 general purpose registers. The name is AX, BX, CX, DX. Now AX, as there is a X, and I have already told you whenever there is a X, it means it is a paired register. If it is a paired register, it means it is of 16 bit. So AX is a paired register, and if we want to write it in individual parts, AX is a combination of AH and AL. Look at this, AH and AL. A stands for accumulator, H stands for high order bits, whereas L stands for low order bit. So 8 bits are of high order and 8 bits are of low order. So AX register is a combination of AH and AL. You can also write this in the definition. AX is a combination of AH and AL. Now it is also known as accumulator register, as there is a A in this register, so it is known as accumulator register, and it is used to store operands for arithmetic operations. Next general purpose register is BX register. BX again is a combination of BH and BL. BH means high order bits of B register, BL stands for low order bits of B register. Now BX stands for, it is base register. Base register, and it is used to store, as the name is base register, it is used to store the starting base address of the memory area within the data segment. So it is used to store the base address. Okay. Now next register is CX register. CX again is a combination of CH and CL, and it is also referred as counter. C stands for counter, and it is used in loop instruction to store the loop counter. Counter is always used to count the steps, so that's why it is used in loop instruction to store the loop counter, to count the number of steps in a loop. Next general purpose register is DX register. DX again is a combination of DH and DL, and this register is used to hold input output port address for input output instruction. Input output port address means port numbers of input output devices, from which port number the data input is has come, or at which port it has to provide output. So it stores all the information regarding the input output port. So these four are the general purpose registers of 8086, and which are present in the EU part. So these registers can be used individually. We can also use these registers individually, like AH, AL, BH. If you want to use BL only, you can make use of that. And they individually store 8-bit data, because I have told you individually they are of 8-bit, and in pure form it is of 16-bit. So these are referred as AX, BX, CX, DX, and so on. So look at this diagram. With this we have studied these four general purpose registers, AX, BX, CX, DX, which are present in execution unit. After that we will study stack pointer, base pointer, SI and DI. So let's start with this. Another unit of EU is ALU. See, this is ALU. ALU is arithmetic logic unit, which is used to perform all the calculations. So ALU handles all the arithmetic and logical operations like plus, minus, multiply, or, not, and all the logical and arithmetic operations. Next is stack pointer register. This is stack pointer register. Now stack pointer register again is a 16-bit register. It holds the address from the start of the segment to the memory location where a word was most recently stored on the stack, and it points to the top of the stack. Students, as earlier we have studied stack pointer register, similarly stack pointer register is used to keep the record of all the data which is stored in the stack, as well as it always points to the top of the stack. Top of the stack is wherever is the recent value we have stored or we have deleted, so that is stack, top of the stack. So it always points to the top of the stack, so that is stack pointer register. Next register is base pointer register. Now what is base pointer register? Base pointer can hold the offset address of any location in the stack segment. It is used to access random locations of the stack. Base pointer is actually a special type of register in which we add offset value. So that's why after adding the offset value we will get the original value of any location. Now after After that, I will explain you, when I will explain you segment register, then it will be more clearer to you regarding these registers. So this is base pointer, this is stack pointer, which is used to contain. So that's why the name is pointer register, because it always points to some particular location, stack pointer and base pointer. Next is source index. Index values, they are used to tell the index value of source and index value of destination. So we have two index registers, source index and destination index. Now what is source index? It holds the offset address in data segment during the string operations. Destination index, it holds the offset address in extra segment during the string operations. Again, when I will explain you segment, it will be more clearer to you. So you just have to remember one thing, that source index, source deals with data segment, whereas destination deals with extra segment during the string operations. String operations are the operations what we perform, and source index deals with data segment, whereas destination index deals with extra segment. So you have to remember these two things. So with this, we have completed these registers. First, for general purpose register, then special purpose register. In the special purpose register, there are two pointer registers, stack pointer and base pointer, whereas in the index register, there are two registers, source index and destination index. Next is flags. Temporary register is register which is used to store temporary data. Internal bus provides connectivity between EU and BIU. I have already told you in the previous video that internal bus data travels on the internal bus. After, when the ALU performs calculation, then after that the flags updated according to the ALU and the result will be transferred to the BIU through this internal bus. ALU transfer the results to internal bus and internal bus provides data to the BIU, and the value of the flags will also be updated on the internal bus, and BIU always can also check the status of all the flags. Now next we have to study flags of 8086. So let's start with this. In the 8086, there are total 9 flags. So 9 flags are divided into two categories. There are 6 total status flags, whereas there are 3 control flags. Whereas 6 status flags and 3 control flags. Status flags, we have already studied status flags in the 8085. These are same like 8085. So the working of these flags are same. That's why I have not written the definition of these flags, because you people already know. So you must know how they are divided into two categories, and in which category what is the name of every flag. So in case of 8085, there are total 9 flags. They are divided into two categories, status flags and control flags. Status flags are used to tell the status, that what is the status after performing the calculations, whether there is carry or not, whether there is parity bit or not. So these flags are generally used to tell the status, whereas control flags are used to control the situation, to control the bits. So that's why the name is control flag. So let's start with status flags. There are total 6 status flags in 8085. Carry flag. Carry flag will be set if there is a carry, otherwise it will be 0. Next is parity flag. Parity flag, again you have studied in 8085. Parity flag will be set or reset according to even parity or odd parity. Next is auxiliary carry flag. Again, if there is an auxiliary carry, the value of the flag will be set to 1, else 0. Next is zero flag. If the value of the result is 0, the flag will be set, otherwise it will be reset. Sign flag. Sign flag tells whether the result is positive or negative. Sign flag will be set to 1 if the result is minus, otherwise it will be set to 0. Next is overflow flag. Overflow flag tells whether there is overflow or not overflow means there is not sufficient space to store the data. So that is overflow condition. So there are total 6 status flags in 8086. Next is control flags. There are 3 control flags. First one is trap flag, interrupt flag and direction flag. Now we will study about control flags because we have not studied these flags in 8085. So let's start with this. These are conditional flags. In 8086, in 8085, over flag is not available. So that's why I have written the definition here. The flag represents the result when the system capacity is exceeded. So the definition of the conditional flag is it represents the result of the last arithmetic and logical instruction executed. So you know that how we use conditional flags. For example, we have performed sum of two numbers. So after performing the sum of two numbers, whatever will be the result, we can check the condition and we can set the value of the flags accordingly. Whatever condition we want to apply, we can apply. So one more flag which is not available in 8085 but which is in 8086, that is overflow flag. After conditional flag, next is control flag. Now what is control flag? Control flags controls the operation of the execution unit. So it is used to control the operation of the execution unit. So there are total 3 flags. Let's start with the first flag, trap flag. Now what is trap flag? It is used for single step control and allows the user to execute one instruction at a time for debugging. If it is set, then the program can be run in a single step mode. Trap is basically interruption. So what happens if we set the trap flag? So if we set the trap flag, it means only one instruction will be executed. After that, the trap will occur. Trap means the process will stop. So whenever we want to set trap, so if it is set, it is written in the second line, if it is set, then the program can be run in a single step mode. So it runs only in a single step mode. After that, it stops. So it is used for single step control and allows the user to execute one instruction at a time. So it means, for example, you have total 5 tasks to perform in a day. And what you can do is you can set a trap flag after every program. So after every program, if you set a trap, it allows you to execute only one program at a one time. After that, it will stop working. Then you can start second task after some time. So that's why it is used for single step control. It is used to control the steps. Next is interrupt flag. Now what is interrupt flag? It is an interrupt. Next is interrupt flag. It is an interrupt enable and disable flag. Interrupt flag, you know that what is interrupt, and interrupt flag is related to that. So at some time we want to enable interrupts, and for example, if we are performing very important task and at that time we cannot allow any device or any task to perform interruption, at that time we can disable the interrupt flag. So interrupt flag allows us to enable and disable the interrupt flags accordingly. So it is an interrupt enable and disable flag, that is it allows you to prohibit and allow the interruption of a program. It is set to 1 for interrupt enable condition and set to 0 for interrupt disable condition. So for example, if you are performing some very important task on the PC, you are giving some online exam on the PC, at that time you do not want any type of interruption. So what you can do is, or what we can perform in the 8085 is, we can set the value of the interrupt flag to 0. So if we set the interrupt flag to 0, it will disable all the interrupts. At that time, no interrupt will occur. And if we want interrupts to occur, we can set it to 1, and that will allow us to set the mode to interrupt enable. So interrupt flag is used to enable and disable the interrupts. Next is direction flag. Direction flag, it is used in string operations. It is used to control the direction of the string operation. Direction means whether we have to increment or decrement. So direction flag is used to control the increment or the decrement operation of string operation. So these are the three control flags of 8086: trap flag, interrupt flag, and direction flag. Trap flag allows you, if you want trap after one instruction, or if you want to perform only one instruction at a time, you can set the value of the trap flag. So this is like when you perform one instruction, if you set trap flag, it causes trap after the one instruction, and you must know after the one instruction that you have completed that instruction. It is same like you can set timer during online exam. So after the completion of the 1 hour, for example, your exam is of 1 hour. So after the completion of the 1 hour, the trap flag will activate and stop your task. So with this, we have completed the flags of 8086. So again, look at this diagram. With this, we have completed the execution unit of 8086, where we have studied general purpose register, special purpose register, after that ALU and flags of 8085. With this, we have completed execution unit part of 8086. Now after that, we will start bus interface unit, BIU. Next is BIU, bus interface unit. BIU takes care of all the data and addresses transfer on the buses for the EU. So it is the responsibility of the BIU to take care of all the data and the addresses which it has to provide to EU, because BIU has to provide data to EIU. So BIU takes care of all the data and addresses transfer on the buses for the EU. Like what it performs, BIU, like it sends the addresses, fetching instruction from the memory, reading data from the input output ports, writing data to the input output ports, as well as memory. So as I have told you, it is the responsibility of the BIU to read the data from the input output port or to provide output to the input output port, because only BIU is the unit which deals with input output devices to get the data and to provide output. And it is also the responsibility of the BIU to read the data from the memory or to write the data into the memory, because EU don't have to deal with input output devices or the memory, because EU has to fetch the instructions only from the instruction queue. So this is the responsibility of the BIU. EU has no direct connection with the system buses. So in the second line you can check that EU has no direct connection with the system buses, because system buses deal with BIU. So this is possible with the BIU. EU and BIU are connected with the internal bus. You can check that. So this is the internal bus. So EU do not interact with any of the input output port and that. So these two units are connected with the internal bus, and it gets also the data through the internal bus, and EU also transferred the results to the internal bus. Okay. So next is instruction queue. What is instruction queue in 8086? See, this is instruction queue, where the BIU stores all the instructions after fetching it from the memory or input output. So what is instruction queue? BIU contains instruction queue. BIU gets up to 6 bytes of next instruction and stores them in the instruction queue. So after fetching the instructions from the input output unit or from the memory, BIU stores all the instructions in the instruction queue, and at a time it can store 6 bytes of instructions. So when the EU executes instructions, once the BIU stores the instructions in the instruction queue, after that EU fetches the instruction from the instruction queue and executes it. So when the EU executes instructions and is ready for its next instruction, then it simply reads the instruction from this instruction queue, and it results in increased execution speed. As I have already told you that how it has increased the speed of the processor in 8086, because BIU stores all the instructions in the instruction queue, whereas EU executes the instruction at the same time which are stored in the instruction queue. By this, it has increased the speed of the processor to a greater extent. Next is fetching the next instruction. Fetching the next instruction while the current instruction executes is called pipelining. So this process is also known as pipelining. Pipelining is also known as parallel processing. So as I have told you that BIU and EU perform tasks at the same time. They both perform tasks simultaneously. So that's why they support pipelining. So you can also get a question on pipelining, that what is pipelining in 8086, or what do you mean by parallel processing in 8086. So if you get a question like pipelining and parallel processing, you have to explain that thing, that because in 8086 BIU and EU perform tasks at the same time. Now what BIU does and what EU does, you can also write that. So that's why this process is known as pipelining, because they both perform at the same time. So students, that's all for today. See, tomorrow I will explain you this part, segment registers of BIU bus interface unit. So after that we will complete the architecture. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we will start with segment registers of 8086. So with this we have completed the EU part and bus interface unit. So that's all for today. I hope it is clear to everyone. Thank you.